Fockele from Let's Kick Ass Palm Springs. And we have a special guest today, Jörg Fockele. Sorry, I did it wrong anyway, didn't I? But I got it right on the second try, which I always try to do. Jörg is a producer and a director for a very special film project that involves HIV long-term survivors. And we define, for the purposes of this video and for this project, that long-term survivors are people who were diagnosed prior to 1995-96 when protease inhibitors became available and changed what was then a death sentence into a situation now where we're living and thriving as long as we are taking our medications. And there's a story to tell. So we want to make sure that those stories get out there. And there's a number of ways to do it. And Jörg is going to tell us the way that he can do it. This particular project, which is Surviving Voices, has been going on for a while with the AIDS Memorial in San Francisco. And I'm going to just ask a couple of really quick questions for Jörg right off the bat. First of all, Jörg, this project has been going on for a number of years. Which communities have you been interviewing and have filmed already?
We started this project in 2015 with a chapter about the leather community in San Francisco. And from there, we've covered hemophiliacs, women, Asian Pacific Islander community, Latinx community, Black community, substance users, AIDS quilt panel makers, and I'm forgetting one or two, but you know.
And how many people has that been? And since 2015, that's nearly 10 years.
I think we've been interviewing between 15 and 20 people. This is the 10th chapter, so you know it's about 120, I'm guessing, so far, and we're going to add another 20 this year.
Okay. And I think you had told me once before that in those interviews, long-term survivors have been sprinkled in those groups. So it's not like this is the first time you've interviewed long-term survivors.
Correct. Yeah, of course, we've been talking to long-term survivors all along. You know, when we talk to people from the Asian Pacific Islander community, of course, some were long-term survivors. But this is the first time that the story arc that we're telling is also specifically going to summarize what's happened to people in the past and what's happening to them now that have been around with or have been dealing with HIV since before the mid-1990s.
The videos that you've done already, are they available online, or is it really something that gets theatrically shown?
The short answer is both. So all videos are available online for free on YouTube. The National AIDS Memorial has a webpage that's dedicated to Surviving Voices, and all videos live on YouTube. They're supposed to be available for free for anyone, especially for our community partners, of which we always have a bunch. But anyone who wants to see the videos or get a download link, we make them available. But we've also been lucky enough that in the past, we've been screening at some film festivals. Which is a nice addition to what we had initially planned this for.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so people who participate in this, because of the exposure of the National AIDS Memorial, this is really obviously a well-funded group with an archive that's going to survive all of us, I hope. Unlike, I think, some other documentaries or some other opportunities to actually tell our stories, this is one that's likely, I mean, it's already 10 years old. It's likely to live on for a long time.
That is certainly our hope, yes. And when you go to YouTube, you can obviously see how many people are watching these. And we have some chapters, the chapter about the Black community and the chapter about the trans community. Both are the ones that had the most views. I think we're at about 7,000 or 8,000 clicks on those, which, in the grand scheme of social media is not a lot, but for something about HIV and AIDS in this day and age is actually, I think, quite impressive.
Mm-hmm. And there's a process that you go through when you actually select somebody. So part of the process right now is that we're like really informing potential people about, so right now we're kind of like screening the population by saying we want to talk to, or you want to talk to, people who are long-term survivors before the protease inhibitors came along. So, so we're actually talking to that particular population, and we're talking specifically about people in Palm Springs or the greater Palm Springs area. So it's not that, you know, if we were going to send this video out that you necessarily want to hear from communities outside of Palm Springs, or what's the case with that? If somebody from I don't know, Illinois all of a sudden gets a wind of this from this video, do you want to consider them in this project, or are we really just looking at Palm Springs people?
I am interested at this point. This is kind of still the research phase for me. I'm interested to talking to anyone, especially actually in the states that are not as easily accessible to me, such as, you know, like the West Coast and the East Coast. Those are the low-hanging fruit for me. We're specifically interested in Palm Springs right now because we're hoping to do a video shoot in Palm Springs rather sooner than later. And obviously, I need to find people that are local for that. But at this point, anyone who's interested, I need to get as much information as I can, and this project is supposed to be national in scope. We do not just film in Palm Springs, we're filming in a bunch of other locations as well.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because our people are people who are usually from other places, and they'll talk to their friends and they'll say, oh, I'm participating in this, or I'm interested in this. Maybe you should be interested in this too. So they'll probably pass it along to them as well. So that's really good to know. So let's go back to the process. Once somebody has self-identified themselves as a long-term survivor, what's the next step?
I would like to be introduced to them via email. Actually, let me share my email right now in the chat so that people can reach me that way. I set up a Zoom call with people like this one so that, you know, we get to know each other a little bit. I have a long list of questions for them, and the interview serves two purposes. A, it helps me shape the interviews moving forward. So I'm still learning. And B, it helps me, along with our community partners, of which we have about 12 or 13 organizations right now, to decide who in the end should be the 20 people that we have money to film, because we can't film 50 or 60 people that I interview on Zoom.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to do. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I understand that the filming process for Palm Springs is going to start in the beginning of February. So that means that we've got a real short window of getting people to contact you to express an interest in telling their story.
That is true for people in Palm Springs, but anyone outside of Palm Springs, certainly there's going to be more time. But yes, the sooner the better. Also, we want to finish this for Long-Term Survivor Awareness Day this year, June 5th. And we're hoping to do a screening actually of the film in Palm Springs in collaboration with the Mizell Center and hopefully with you guys. And so we need to get cracking on this. So yeah, the sooner the better. Don't spend too much. Don't hesitate too long.
Whether you're in Palm Springs or in other locations, please give him an email. Send him an email, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with Jörg going forward. Thank you for being here, Jörg, and thank you also to our audience for listening. Take good care.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.